Yo, yo.
Where's your
What's up,
face?
Mishiba? You're here? No, no. Do my makeup.
Don't forget the
Where
hair.
is the portal? Where's the portal?
Hola,
Yo, what's up? So, Gravit.
semocha kanjani?
Oh, yeah. I'm just waiting for the pod.
Am I the only female here?
Probably. Another one dropped out.
That sucks.
Why? Do you have another one that you want
No,
to
don't
join?
worry. Nothing is gonna happen.
Do you
We are
feel
all people, I guess.
I hate going
she
up
feels
against men.
unsafe? What do
No.
you mean going
No,
up
you are not
against?
going. You're not going against men. You are just going against people.
Oh, that's not how it always goes with Lungi. Nope.
Like,
We're not.
should I find a female somewhere and then she can join?
She's gonna use
Let's
the
see.
victim card. Just watch. She feels unsafe. Okay, just wait. Let
I
me just
never
tell
use
her.
All
the
right.
victim
No, no
card.
problem.
Where is this guy? He's gonna come on and he's gonna speak more than everyone. Just watch.
Yeah, so what are we doing here? You might as well just take over the live.
Can you relax? Jesus, Mishka. Okay, there he is.
People who know me
My
are
name is Abonga,
watching.
by the way.
Guys, please leave this live.
Headphones,
I have like three questions straight off the bat, bro. Like straight up.
Can you ask them while we're waiting for him?
Um, no, I'll ask it when he's here.
Okay,
No, like I,
send it to me on like a private message so that I can think of my answer because I take long to think.
I thought you didn't I thought you didn't think at all.
Oh, really?
Mo is on. Mo can help you perhaps.
Who is that? Who is the other girl that was supposed to join?
Mo. No, it wasn't Mo. It was someone else. Where the hell is this guy? Uh, there's only three. No, it's not.
Can I also quickly get my earphones fit?
Yeah, 51. He wants to hear it straight in the ears and block it out from coming out the other side.
Exactly, my guy.
Yo, you naked. You just walk past there naked. I wanted to get him on because I think he's the only person that actually has a completely different viewpoint to this. But he told me that he's at an ANC rally and he's trying to get the troops sorted. I told him he can go F himself.
Who else is there?
OBU, and then
Where's
three other people.
what's his name? What do you call him? DJ.
Ooh, it's a good question. I don't know. Does DJ even use Insta? DJ is like still stuck in the past. Bro.
Mo, stop laughing. Just join the chat.
Yeah, the problem is if Mo joins, then Potso won't be able,
Oh,
and
that's
he's always
fine.
got yeah, but he's always got some fire, and I like it when you two kind of go at it, and then you lose your
We've
shit,
never
and
gone at it though.
you take off your bio, and you go, I'm tired of this.
You
I
talk
want to
such
see
a
that happen.
rubbish, man.
Oh, it's classic. Okay, swear. I've invited this guy. Give me a second. I just called him now. He's like, let me get dressed
Oh,
quickly.
there
Let me
he
tell her to
is.
get. Let me get dressed quickly.
Oh my God, it's just the Insta live. He doesn't need to put a suit on and stuff.
No, he had to chase the chick away that he was with. Yeah, there he is. There's my boy. Did I catch you cheating, boy?
Eh? No, 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 no. I was not sleeping. I was not sleeping. I was busy typing. No, 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 no. No.
What are you going to do?
Please, someone talk to this guy. Cranford.
Hello?
I didn't get that, man. Sorry. I think there's some wind in here. It's very rainy in Cape Town, man. So I needed to close the window and stuff. Am I the only one who's in Cape Town here? You know Cape Town where?
No,
But
I am
Mishka's in
too,
Cape
but I
Town.
can hear
Mishka's in
perfectly
Cape
fine.
Town. She
Is
says
she in
it's
Cape
hot.
Town?
It's hot there. Yeah, she says it's
No, I'm in
hot.
but it's cold. Cold today. I don't know why. Because it's not supposed to be cold after all.
I'm in Kailicha, so I think probably she's in southern
Oh, so
suburbs
you're
or
not.
something.
Yeah.
That's closer to
Kailicha
the
is
Eastern Cape. Closer to the Eastern Cape.
exactly. So we're in different worlds, so to speak.
All right, cool. That's a nice icebreaker. Okay, so here's a question.
Yeah.
Can a black person be racist?
Yes.
What do you say?
Well, I don't know this guy's name. You should introduce us.
Oh,
I can
Mtimbi.
no. Let me introduce myself. It's better that way, so that she doesn't say I've heard it somewhere. You know, and I think I'm gonna expect the same thing from her as well. You know, I think it's better if we. My name is Abonga Sitela. Yabo.
Abonga.
I'm from a township called Kailicha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a suburb.
Probably these days it is, but when
Yeah. Ever since Ace got pushed up on higher and higher, it's a suburb now.
yeah, because we have Ace now and Rands, you can call it suburbs, yeah. That's where I'm
There we
from.
go.
Yeah, but I'm in Cape Town.
What about you, Mishi? Introduce yourself to him.
I'm Mishka. I'm from southern suburbs.
So Mishka has a knack of always taking some of my male friends. So yeah, good luck. Anyway, anyway,
She
Capitalist
doesn't.
prejudice. Yes,
I'm
a
single.
black person can be racist.
But I'm not available. I didn't catch your name, Makai.
Oh, I'm Puto. I'm in Joburg, but then originally I come from the Eastern Cape, the northern part of the Eastern Cape, Soke Musud.
northern part of the Eastern Cape. That's Nyanga. Nyanga East.
No, so you know Matatiele, those places, Matatiele, Mount Fletcher,
Oh
like
yeah.
yes, the part the part
That's
of
what
the
Vito's
Eastern Cape that's
campaigning for the
better from
ANC.
What is this guy saying? It's your turn, long stuff it.
Okay, I said it again. I'll ask it again. Can a black person be racist?
I think everyone can be racist, man. Against other person, yeah.
Okay.
That's my answer.
So what is the notion then that a black person can't be racist because being racist means that you have to have power?
Okay. On that one. On that one, I think I've also shared this view even from the beginning that that comes from that also comes from a position of weakness. Use as a person, if you say that a certain person can't be racist because that means you have already acknowledged. If you say someone is powerful, you have already somehow acknowledged your weakness in such a way that you are saying, okay, I'm helpless, I'm useless, and then everything I do then has no impact or has no effect. Even if that is the case, but then the fact remains that you can still be racist. You can be racist because even if we use the power, the what you call, even if we use the power, even if they say, for example, a black person can't be racist because for you to have to be racist, you have to have power. But then, does that mean that a black person can never be powerful? Because if we say that, because there are also other groups of people that I'm sure you are more powerful than the other races that will actually have more power against. For example, you can see what is happening in South Africa, for example, against the I would say, let's say the people from the Middle East, the ones that have decided that they will start businesses in South Africa, and that can you say that in those small communities, for example, in those small communities that you will find in the for example, be it in the rurals or in small towns, whereby the majority of the people are actually black people who can actually decide at one point that, okay, if you want to set the shop alight, we can do that. So now you see now, so that alone also shows that even these people can be, even if you are using the power logic, these people can still be racist in that case, if that's what we're going to use.
Pretty much summed it up. Nishka, what do you have to say?
I don't know. I think there's kind of two ways it plays out in my head. The one is by saying that a black person cannot be racist, you kind of affirming the fact that they're inferior.
Yeah.
But then you could also look at it as, if a black person or person of color can never be racist, that's then giving them the power to do whatever they want because they can't be held accountable, which I don't think is right or fair.
Yes.
I don't know, man. Maybe we should look into this idea of being racist as a term and see how we can actually define it, and then look at who can be able to use it to who exactly. Because I think Umchita is right that if we associate this word with certain people, and then we say black people cannot use this word, which means then we're giving all the power to other people. That's why I'm the city. Maybe let's try and define this word and see what it actually means to us, and then we can see how we fit it into the context. I'm not sure if I'm making sense. Yeah, before we can say, no, a black person cannot do certain things, it's only white people who can be racist. I mean, we've seen what black people can actually do to each other, you know? So it's just one of those things that need a deeper explanation as to what is racism. Yeah,
on that even, like, what if sometimes go teta, like your parents and your family members, it's always so natural when they speak about it like that, but it's like you don't even realize that you're actually being racist. It's like it's the same when you go on Facebook. It's so easy for like a black person to say, of course, but oh no, like I'm lungo teni lo you know, like white people. This is white people stuff. It's like imagine the white people saying this is black people stuff. I hate the things that black people do. I hate the fact that they do this and they do that. It's like all of a sudden that's racist. But then how is it not racist if it's the other way? And it goes back to what Mishka was saying now with like it seems as though the people that created the terms that they use, that like racism, are people that then created it so that it can't be used towards them.
Exactly.
You know, it's like terms like toxic femininity or fragile masculinity. I mean, toxic masculinity and fragile masculinity. It's like the person that created those terms did not want them to be accountable, so they never then brought out terms such as toxic femininity and fragile femininity. To them, it's like that doesn't make sense, but the other one makes sense. Yeah, well, same with the terms. A term like racism. It's like the term racism is prejudice against color. It has nothing to do with height or where you're from or whatever. It's prejudice against color. Now, if you have a color, then you can be prejudiced to someone else that has color. Also, you don't even have to have have different colors. You can be of the same color. You can be racist to a black person.
Yes.
Yeah, well, so it seems as though all of these things that like racism that get brought up is brought up by someone or group of people that use it so that then they can make someone else the oppressors and make themselves the victims. And then when you try to bring it back, they say, "Oh no, but you have to have power." Or they bring up all sorts of stuff. No, you have to have been through apartheid or whatever the hell it is. And it's like that doesn't work. You can't chop and change things as they see fit when it comes to you. But when you take it out, all of a sudden it's like, no, that's the definition. We agree on the definition. And then you say, okay, but then when we use the same definition against you, then all of a sudden you say, no, let's alter it a bit. Oh, look, I'm the one that can't be racist, but you can.
So if I'm understanding you correct, are you saying this term actually came up with black people because they saw how other people were against them, and then they realized that, okay, white people are racist?
I think what I was also trying to like understand the same thing. So you're saying that this practice of racism wasn't labeled racism by a white man. It's when the black person realized this dynamic and then named it racism. Is that what you're asking, Abonga? Abonge?
So, something like that. As you know, it's something that was created by us because we felt like, okay, this is what a powerful person can do to a black person. Probably that's why we don't want to associate it now with black people, because we will always say black people can't be racist. I'm just trying to understand if Luke is saying that.
So what I'm saying is the term could have been created by anyone. Yeah. I'm saying that the definition of it chops and changes according to the people that don't want to be victimized. So the term racism is fine, right? But then when you ask a black person if they can be racist, then they'll say, "Oh no, I can't be racist because it has to do with power." Then the definition changes. Yeah. So the definition changes according to the person that does not want to be the oppressor.
Yes, because you know what happens. If you can check on all of these terms, they come from the people. All these terms, they come from the people who are who I would say, like, they all come from the people who don't really feel that they can have the power to fight back. Because if, for example, you tell me that I'm this, I can call you the same thing back. If you say, for example, you come and then you slap me, and then I can slap you back. It does not have to. But then if you slap me and then I can't slap back, then I'm gonna start calling you an abuser or a bully or whatever. Because I can't fight back. And then that is where I have a problem with when Muslim black people call everyone racist, because it's like and then they say that other people can be racist, but then they can't be racist. It's like saying I'm a small puppy, feel sorry for me, and then I can't do anything, and then this is my life, this is me, I can only be abused, I cannot abuse. You see, what actually, instead of saying, you know what, I should actually increase my capability, my ability to actually abuse as well, but then be in control of that, so that when that happens, then I can fight back. You will never hear this. You never hear people who can fight back complaining about racism, or you will never hear people who can fight back complaining about bullying, be it anything. if the people who actually improve, who actually build that monster in them, so that monster, that bad guy that they can always pull out when shit happens. I mean, as I'm saying that I believe all people should actually have that ability to actually cultivate and then grow that little bad guy that you put in your pocket, and then you pull out when situation gets tough, so that you don't always have to complain, and then you don't always have to feel like you are being victimized, because you cannot continue feeling victimized if you actually have the ability to victimize as well. You see,
Yeah.
you look at, for example, what is happening between for example, I'll say America and North Korea. North Korea, we know that they are a small, very, very small country. I'm sure they are just like they are a fraction of what South Africa is. But then they are actually a country that has got their small guy that they can pull out. They've got nuclear weapons and everything. So you will never hear them complaining about this. Instead, when Donald Trump says shit about them, they say shit about him back, and then it ends there. And then from there it becomes, and then no one does anything. But then for countries that for Africans, which it's sad because I'm African, and then this is part of me, is that they've actually embraced everyone feeling sorry for them, and then we have actually created an economy based on everyone feeling sorry for us. That's why you see, if you check all over Africa, most countries actually dependent on what? Dependent on foreign aid, that dependent on packages, that dependent, the houses have to build for themselves. If you go to every protest, you can go to every protest that you see in South Africa. It's all people are complaining, hey, you did not give me a house, and then now you gave me a house, but then you did not give me water. It's almost as if we run away from sustainability, from being self-sustainable, and then we are going to continue. And after, let's say white people one day, they decide, you know what, we are going to stop being racist against these people. We are going to find another thing to blame. We are going to call them, oh, now they've shifted racism. Now it's institutional racism. It's the institutions that are being racist to us, and then the institutions are bad. And then now we are going to attack institutions. Now, after we are done, we are always going to go out there and then find the boogeyman, because we want to be victims. But then if we say, for example, I also made an example of when you, like, for example, if you pay attention, you find that a lot of black people, they want a lot of black women. And then they are complaining that they are not getting the positions of power in these big corporations, that they're not considered for CEO positions and all that, you see. And then if you really want to be a CEO, why don't you start your own organization? You will be a CEO tomorrow. But then instead they want to do what they want to say. No, let's go in there and then push these people so that be victims, and then and then from there we'll also get to be CEO. So it's also part of laziness, because we don't want to do the work, and then the work is not nice, because the work means that we actually have to sweat, and then we don't want to do that, and that is the problem.
Is there someone that's living there with a dog, or is that a wolf?
TV man, does TV me bro. It is. No, I think if I'm understanding you quite well, no, it's a TV. If I'm understanding you well, my brother in Joburg, I think now you are assuring me that we are suffering from mental slavery, my guy. Yeah. Something that came, I don't know, years back, and they actually installed it in our minds. We're actually growing up with that. So this thing of being inferior to white people is something that we are growing with. And they know. Now, I think that's why we get to fight amongst ourselves and have these discussions about, can a black person be racist, because then it's what they wanted. Yeah, so that we can have these, arguments, so to speak, about no, Lungster, you can't call me black, Kotan, I'm black. No, I can't call I can't call another sister a colored person. You know what I mean? Whereas the bigger picture here is that we are just feeling inferior. That's it. Yeah, but the fact that you don't have balls to go out there and start your own business and be your own CEO, instead you wanna infiltrate, so to speak, that company so that you can see yourself up there. I mean, yeah.
You wanna go and be a CEO in someone's hard work, and then you wanna go insert yourself in someone's hard work, over 100 years of hard work, and then you wanna just go there, and then because you feel that you've been marginalized,
you have a qualification,
and then you must now go there and then be inserted instead of building your own organization. I mean that's like that. There is, as I said, that there is a reason why I feel, and then I also understand from the other side why I feel that other races, they feel that we as the Africans have not really contributed much, even though there are huge contributions that Africans have made, and then maybe we've also lacked in actually marketing those achievements. But then if you can understand that the frustration from also other races, that no, these people are actually consumers. We have to get out of the snake mentality. You know, a rat will work hard there and then create a holes and then create a shelter, and then the snake will just come and then take the shelter, and then we are like that, and then that has to stop. And then for that to stop, we really have to get out of the victim mentality. And then the thing is that right now the victim mentality is selling. It's selling. As I said, that there's an entire economy based on this, on us being victims. That's why if you go there, people are calling their deficiencies disorders. Like, I've got this disorder. Some of the things are actually things that can actually be. You find people say that going around there, not to be disrespectful or to be condescending to people who are going through mental illness and all that, or mental. But then you get people that will complain and then say that they've got this depression and all that. And then you check the person. You check, for example, the diary of the person's diary. You find that this person is completely disorganized. He doesn't know what he's gonna do today. He doesn't even a simple preparation. You know that you can actually reduce your stress by 50% by a simple preparation. Taking your Sunday, okay, and Sunday, this is what I'm gonna do tomorrow on Monday. This is what I'm gonna do. This is how I'm gonna do. You clean your room, and then you clean your room, eat healthy food, go to job. Those are the simple things that can actually minus the stress, like erase it, like reduce the stress by about 50%. But then we don't want to do that. We want to go to the doctor, and then the doctor is going to give us some pills there to numb us, and then the following day we wake up, or we go to get a savannah, and then the following day we wake up, and then it's the same thing again. So that's also one of the things that a lot of people. I've never seen so many. Every day you can go to Google now. I'm sure there's a new disorder, or there's a YouTube. There's a new disorder. What disorder? What disorder? There's a disorder for everything. The things that you can actually actively change yourself by actually putting the work. We call them disorders. And then once we call them disorders, there's going to be a clinical diagnosis for it. And then even though the guys on the other side, they see, oh, this is good business on the other side. And then from there, they will give you pills, and then you show you pills, then you go and then you eat the pills, you feel numb. And then at the end of the day, your room is still a mess and everything. And then you feel the same thing. Then it's just a cycle that we actually have to stop. We cannot be this weak.
What do you want to say there, Mishi?
I don't know where to start. I think actually before like these conversations happen, there's a lot of talk about generational trauma, and I think that's where we have to now step in and step up, basically, because that's basically what Potso is talking about, is that you have internalized this victim mentality because of your mom and your grandmother and the woman before that and before that, or the guys, and it's just been passed down, and you just accept it and accept this is the way, that's all that's been modeled for you. And so you think that's the way of being. And that's why we're stuck in this problem. And so, there's things like DE and triple B, double E, but that can only work if the people that it's aimed at has gotten out of that victim mentality and they don't want to be just served and given things. And then
they want to create,
then they can take that opportunity and right the wrongs from the past. But still, you still have to then go out and be your own CEO and then take that opportunity that DE is going to give you. It's not about going in to, like you said, a company that's been standing for 100 years old. You demand to be the CEO because you're a different color to the current CEO. And then you mess the thing up in like the first day that you're there because you have no idea what you're doing. It's like, it doesn't make sense.
I think it's the comfortability of where we are and the idea of not knowing what's going to happen if you step up and do something different because you've been in this bubble for like, I don't know, for as ever you know what I mean? So if you start thinking out of the box, that's uncomfortable. You don't know the results of that.
I just feel like what's stopping you from doing the same thing that Jan van Riebeeck did? Yeah. What's stopping you from having the same balls that Jan van Riebeeck had?
Exactly. You're
just a different color to him.
Exactly. What you are saying is exactly the problem. It's exactly the problem. If we are complaining, if we whine so much about white people putting us under slavery, white people under colonialism, and all the apartheid. Why, if we think we are so strong, why didn't we do the same? Why didn't we get on the ships and then go to England and then colonize
the Queen there and whoever is there?
And they're so much smaller than us. We've got big ports. We've got Cape Town and Durban. There's ships every single day. What's stopping the whole of KZN getting on a ship, going to Queen Elizabeth and doing their thing? Do you know how small England is compared to us?
Yes. So the sadness there. I think there's also the sadness there is that also if you, for example, I'm gonna try to use geography to explain this or maybe to explain how we got to this point. I could be wrong and then I also stand to be corrected. But then if you can check, for example, Europe, the entire Europe is a very small continent. And then, as it's a small continent, it also has got a bad weather. It also has got a bad weather. I mean, in terms of if you compare it to for example, to Africa, for example, you find that it just got actually actually a small. So these people, before they came here, they already had over 500 years of actual over 500 to 1,000 years of actually working with small land and then fighting for small land. So by the time they came here, they already had a complete monopoly over violence. They knew how to use violence, how to use violence, how to get. Because, for example, if you can look at a country like Germany, for example, it's a German in terms of the square meterage. Germany is like it's equal to the northern Cape province. That's one of the 9 provinces that we have in South Africa in terms of size. But then if you can check you find that, for example, Italy it's highly mountainous. A lot of the Italian terrain is highly mountainous. So now you can check and find that these people, they actually had a very, very small arable land, and then they actually had to fight for that. So for them violence had to be something that they know how to use, they know how to control, and then they also improve on it so that they can be able to protect small lands that they had. And then they managed to build ships, and then they came to Africa. They found that in Africa you can actually have there's plenty of land, there's plenty of fruits, there's plenty of everything. These people don't even need weapons because they don't really have to there is the economy of Africa, that was in such a way that you can actually, if there's no food here, you can actually just migrate maybe a few other kilometers, then you'll find food there. It's guaranteed. So that's also the abundance of Africa. We actually, if you were to compare Africa if we actually to make an analogy, you can actually make an Africa. But again, how do you make this? You can actually compare Africa to a mother who has to a rich mother, to a child to a rich mother. If let's say your mother is so rich that you don't even have to work, you don't even have to fight for everything, you don't have to, everything is just right there at your disposal. You are hungry, you want meat, you just have to run a few, you're gonna meet a fat springbok, and then you kill it, then it becomes food. So that's what has been happening. And then in Europe is different. And then a child that is raised by a rich mother who's caring and everything is gonna be different from a child that was raised in a place whereby he actually had violence had to be an order of the day. So if you look at it, so there are things that the people, there's
What's
some
going on?
Yeah. So there are things that you can see that white people had advantage of in terms of and also they also had to learn to cultivate. For example, if you can check at how they live, you'll find that it was very uncommon for a child of a commoner to actually mate with the child of someone who's at the noble class. So it was something that was, that's why there's actually books about it. It's because it was the romantic novels about it, because it was something that was not usual. And then if you build a society whereby you know how to cultivate and breed the best of the best, and make sure that the best of the best in society breed more, and then they also interact alone, then you can be able to do that. But then if you come to Africa, you'll find that in Africa, everyone, even currently, is allowed to sleep with everyone. You don't get surprised when you find the child of a minister, the child of a noble politician, for example, sleeping with the bum from the streets. It's not something that we know that it happens. But then you get to white people or other races, they will tell you that no, you cannot, even if you are in love, you cannot go with that one, because you're going to destroy our lineage. You're going to bring someone who's actually going to affect our ethnic image. So we have not really paid attention in that. And then if you look at, for example, if you look at any successful groups, it could be Muslims, they actually have an order, they have strict laws, they've got order, and then they've got a way of enforcing those laws. And then that is why they are always superior. And then we on the other side think that we can just do anything with the
Black people.
White
people,
working
it's
hard
in the
mentality.
way that they were nurtured, that
Yes.
they know how and when to go after they want, because they've always had to basically fight for it, because they were always fighting for resources, whereas Black people just been internalized that Africa is as free for all. I'm just going to move to the next spot. If my pasture is done and it's brown now, I'm going to move to the green spot, and no one's going to bother me.
Exactly. That's exactly.
Now that's not the case, and we don't know how to then adopt this European way of being.
No, we can adopt the European way of being, because right now the world has been globalized now in such a way that the competition has risen. Ever since the white people came here, we had to compete for land. A lot of Black people like to say that the land was stolen. The land was not stolen. That person worked hard to come here. Do you think it's easy to crossing the Indian Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean to come here with a ship, and then with just a handful of men, and then put the entire groups of species under Bella, if you actually had to look and then compare, you actually see that these people, if you actually, these people, they deserve the land that they got. They worked hard, they risked their lives. And then if you want the land back, you have to risk your life too. What makes you think that the land is just going to be handed over? You cannot steal land. I mean, you can steal coin. You cannot steal land. I mean, who's going to give you that? That's why I support people who say, okay, we are going to go grab land. Get guns if you have to. Go grab land. That's how you get land. You don't get land by just sitting there and then calling the EFF and then saying, okay. No. You have to fight for land. And then just because you are here, who said this is your land? Because just because you are born here does not mean someone can come and say, you know what, I've got bigger muscles than you and I've got bigger guns, fuck off, and then I'm gonna take this now. If you don't have the bigger guns and the bigger muscles, you have to leave. That is how nature is. That is how all other animals are doing it. I don't know why we think that we are different. so it's.
You guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, we are too comfortable, man. We don't want to take risks because we are afraid of the unknown. The guy is right. Those guys decided to take a ship for 3 months to 6 months. They didn't know where they were going to, but they had an idea. Yeah, some died, but they knew that we are actually going to Africa. We're going to see what's going on there, and then we're going to do what we want to do.
Exactly.
Getting out of your comfort zone. We are too relaxed. I'm not gonna be saying black people are lazy, white people are hardworking, but I mean they are able to take risks. We are comfortable with where we are. You know, that's why we are sitting on these couches and you know, engaging in these conversations. Yeah, we are comfortable. We should just get out of our comfort zone, start a business next door, and then know that by tomorrow you're gonna be your own CEO.
Yes, and then there's also this thing of for example, if you there's also this issue of I think we have to, as black people, we have to understand that our weaknesses are not there just because we are destined to be a weaker race. Our weaknesses are there because we have not actually been careful in how we have to do things, and then we also have not put much effort. As I said before, I always make this example before that if you, for example, you take a dog, a nice big dog, nice breed, and then you mix it with a stray dog, and then with a stray dog that you can't even name what breed is, you cannot expect to have the offspring that of good quality. So that's what we have done as black people. We have not been able to cultivate. If you want a clever society, if you want to build a clever, strong society, a mentally strong society, you have to make sure that you get mentally strong people to mate, and then we have to make sure that you raise good families, and then you have to make sure that you have got nutrition to actually feed these people. Because at the end of the day, a brain is not there. We also think that the brain is just the having brains is also just is something that's it's an element of luck. These are things. There are nutrients that you also have to eat, so that you also have to consume, so that you can be of sound mind. So those are things that we have to. This nutrition plays a big role. Before I understand that Africans are very, very religious people, and then they're very, very spiritual people. But for some time, they actually have to humble themselves. They actually have to humble themselves enough to understand that they are no different from an animal next door. And then actually, before they actually want to reach that spiritual level, they actually have to understand themselves from an animalistic level. Okay, and to be able to give birth to this product, this is what we have to do. And then to be able to make this so that this child grows healthy, grows in a healthy manner, and this is what we have to do. These are the values that we have to do. This is the food that he has to eat. Because a lot currently, it's very, very sad. Currently, if you can pay attention, or if you can pay attention on for example the 2Ks, a lot of them, they don't even know how to cook a healthy meal. They don't eat healthy. They don't even know how to cook a healthy meal. All they do, they know is how to go and then buy a quarter, buy quarters and then eat quarter, or buy pizza or anything that is just quick. And then you cannot really expect a person to really function to their best ability if they are not eating healthy food. And then they're also not they're not eating healthy food. They're not interacting with healthy people. They're not consuming healthy content, be it in TV, be it in everywhere. So there are those things those are easy pickings that we can do, and then in 100 or 200 years we can actually be able to compete with other races as well.
Yeah. On my side, then I think it's like as you guys have mentioned, that we raising a lot of
Yeah. Yes.
coming back now. I think if load shedding, check
I don't have the app.
the schedule.
I don't know
Oh,
what it is.
Or maybe they just stole the power line.
Oh no.
What?
What's up?
Was that a cricket?
Well,
We're still power lines with.
all right about the cables there, that they may have taken the copper cable.
Hey, anything is possible in Cape Town, my guy.
And then all of a sudden you come back with your hand underneath the blanket. What's going on up with
It's very cold in Cape Town, my guy. Hey, I had to fetch a blanket. I mean, it's freezing here.
Okay, so yeah, from our point of view, I think it's a very much a all of us are privileged in every single way, and we don't want to acknowledge our privileges, because then it means that then we are privileged more than someone else. So when we don't acknowledge it, then we can always say that person has more, I want that. And then I go and I get that. If I've got it, then all of a sudden I don't want to acknowledge that is something of privilege. Then all of a sudden I say, no, it's not privilege. I want that. And it's a victim mentality. It's okay, like what Nish was saying now, I want to be the CEO. Okay. So you feel now that when you get to this, the CEO is now something of privilege, because that's what you want, right? Then when you get there, when you fail, you're going to say, no, but they didn't give me this, and they didn't give me that. And I said, yeah, but you have a position of privilege. Oh, no, it's not privilege, because then now the next privilege is that they should have given me this, and then I would have been better that way. Yeah. So you have a lot of these things that are happening where every single time you go, you get to a certain place, you don't want to acknowledge your privilege, you then say, that person is privileged. Because that means that then it hides your own privilege. And then if it hides your own privileges, doesn't mean that they're not there, right? They might not be visible to you, but you know they're there. So then we then make up these terms where we then have to shift definitions, where we say things like, oh, well, it's racism. Okay, well, actually it's not. You're also racist. Oh, well, look, it's institutional racism. UCT is racist because it has more white people than black people. Oh, okay. Five years later, UCT is flipping 80% black. Oh, so now black people are racist? No, the thing is that management is so white. Oh, so we're gonna keep shifting
because as soon as you acknowledge your privilege, you have to then become accountable for it. It's like paying taxes. You need to submit your yearly, and then you taxed on it because you privileged to a certain point.
Exactly.
And so now we'd rather, as people of color, just turn a blind eye, and it's easier to just reflect that back on someone else. Is different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this is what happens, and then you say, no, management is still white, and then okay, well then how about we then put people of color in there? Would that make it better? Yeah, it sounds better. Then you put more people in there, then it's like, okay, now it's predominantly people of color. Perfect. Okay, so that means that then you guys are now racist towards the white people because they have less people there. No, it's not that. The thing is that the country is still Oh, okay. So the country actually is run mostly by black people.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so then where do you now? What do you say now? Are you guys racist now? Uh, the thing is, the rest of the world, if you look at Europe, they then control the rest of the economy. And the rest of the economy is white. And it's like, look, bro, it's going to come a
Yeah.
time where you're going to have to look within and say, look, I have privileges. I have my own set of privileges in certain
Yeah.
ways, and so does someone else. And me acknowledging someone else's privilege doesn't mean that I don't have any privilege. I
Yeah.
probably have more, if not the same. And if I'm going to try to change every single thing out there to privilege myself, that in itself is a privilege because you're not allowing that person to do the same as you. Now, the problem with that is that it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to have that conversation, and therefore it means that you didn't need to actually stand up and start working. But you'd rather say no. The thing is, my grandfather was not privileged back then, and
I know.
because he wasn't
That's
privileged
a
back
conversation I
then.
had with someone. I'm like, it frustrates me that people of color,
Wait,
people are gonna
let me
come
finish.
at me. Wait,
Wait,
wait, wait.
let me
Okay,
finish.
okay, finish.
So my great grandfather was not privileged because he was black and he was put through apartheid. So therefore, now 5 generations later, I am now going to be oppressed, and therefore I'm the victim, right? So therefore, you guys need to listen to what I say. So when I say that a white person is like this, then you can't be offended because you can't be offended if you're a white person. Like, oh, okay, fine, fair enough. But how about the fact that your grandfather was a male? And how about the fact that males used to then oppress white people, women back then? So he was then privileged in that sense. So now if you now going to take the victim of your grandfather, then you're going to have to then take also his cases and his oppressive nature into the future. So when a woman then says to you, hey, don't say anything to me, you're privileged because you're a man, you need to now take it. But now you say, no. He is with that, the definition, then you start changing the definition.
Like talking about the grandfathers, I think as black people, we always want to look at our grandfathers or the forefathers or the ancestors as these good people, who were good. But then we must also get to understand that just as they are cowards now, they were cowards then. Just as there are weak people now, there were weak people then. And then our parents, they got oppressed. They got oppressed. Our grandparents, they got oppressed because they were weaker. That means because there was a stronger guy in town, and then he beat them up.
The fittest.
We must accept that, guys. That's a loss that we must accept, that we have lost here, and then we have. If you look at, I'll make an example. You look at Japan, for example. Japan was rubles after World War II. It was ruble. If you look at Germany, for example, after World War II, it was ruble. They accepted that we have lost against the Americans, and that we are going to now rebuild this country. If you can check even in the pictures and history, you will find that there was a time whereby they were actually teaching children while wearing gas masks outside in a place that is flagged, that's got a radioactive poisoning and like there's a nuclear poison. They were teaching their children there, right there outside without any roof. So they accepted that we have lost. And then because we have lost, then we are going to start and then rebuild this country. So now the problem with black people is that they don't accept that they've lost. They think that they were robbed. No, they were not robbed. They've lost. Our grandfathers lost because they were weaker, and then there was a stronger guy in town, and then he took what was theirs, and then they could not fight to protect it. And then we are also going to do the same if we actually don't accept the fact that we're actually weaker now, and then we have to strengthen ourselves. We have to we have to educate ourselves. We have to build stronger communities. We have to build stronger nuclear families. We have to build stronger extended families. So those are the things that we actually have to do, and then that's hard work, because you don't get that by sleeping, by lying down, or having babies all over the place, or neglecting the babies, or anything, or any of that. Those things, they require structure, they require order, they require discipline. And then those are the reasons why our grandfathers. Yes, it's sad. It's sad, for example, to think that your grandfather your grandfather was working as a kitchen as a garden boy and everything. But then he was working as a garden boy because that's what he submitted to. If he did not want to do that, he could have done another thing or died or died fighting. So that's also one of the things that actually I think that we have to accept that. We have to accept that we lost, and then we have to lick our wounds, and then we have to actually start rebuilding and accept that that is the reality. That is the raw reality that we don't want to talk about. No one stole anything from you. These people, they came and then they took it, and then you could not do anything. And then they put laws together. They were organized. They put laws together. Okay, now that it's on our side, these are the laws, and then you can't take it back. And then they won against on that. So it's very, very, very sad. And then like it's very, very sad because at the end of the day, you will hear a lot of black people say, okay, these are our ancestors and what, and then they died, they fought and died for us. Very few ancestors fought. They actually had the courage to fight because even if they did, they lost. I mean, at the end of the day, they lost. And then the winner writes the rules, you see. And also here,
of course.
Yeah, you hear people who go complain that hey, English, we can't, we should now reinstate our languages and then everything. Yeah, you can do that if you want, but then you must also understand that the winner writes the rules. The winner, the one who won, is the one who's saying, okay, now from now onwards, this is how it goes. So for you to actually have the privilege to write the rules, to write the new rules, you have to win first, and then to win, you must do the hard work, and then that's what. Embrace that the hard work. We cannot really do anything without hard work.
I've got 2 points to say.
Yeah.
So the first one is your forefathers didn't lose. If they lost and they died, you wouldn't be here. Somebody survived and continued the generations, right? That's my first point.
Well, first put that, sorry, cut you off. Whenever we say, like, whenever people say our forefathers lost, like, why do we always take someone else's pain as your own?
No, so
like,
that's my second point. That's my second point, right? Like, it just bothers me so much that the youth, like my peers, they feel this personal revenge for what happened back there. It's not your struggle. It wasn't your struggle. If your dad refused to fight in apartheid, that's his problem. You weren't born then. No one did anything to you. You were born in a world that gave you opportunities, and it was your decision to use it or not to use it. Now you want to fight your dad's struggle because your dad didn't want to, grow some balls.
And also, and with that, you're fighting. And even with that, you're fighting your dad or your grandfather's struggle against who?
Yeah,
like, what does Jonathan have to do with it?
Exactly.
What does Vishka have to do with it?
Exactly, and that's why I've had like personal things. Like I've had people hating on me because my dad chose to lie to the law and get himself into university and actually build a life for his offspring who he didn't have yet, but now we were born into it. Like, how's that my problem?
Exactly.
Now you're gonna hate on me because I'm a mixed whatever woman, and I've got more opportunities than you. But my dad and your dad were given the same opportunities. My dad was just clever about it, and your dad wasn't. Like,
it's guilt tripping. There's a lot of people who like to, and I hate it. And there are people who will guilt trip you for being born in a rich family, and then speak as if it's something bad that you are born in a rich family. You're born with a silver spoon in your mouth, and then you've got privilege and all that. So is it my fault that I was born rich? I mean, is it my fault that you were born poor? No, it's not my fault that you were born poor. I don't know anything about you. I don't know you. And then I don't know anything about you and everything. So those are the things that
and I don't care.
Yes.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be forced to care.
Yes.
If I want to care, it should always be my choice.
Yes.
So don't force me to care. Don't tell me that I should now care about your struggle. I don't tell you to care about my wealth. But don't
Yes.
care about it. If you want to, you can. It's your choice.
Yes. And then I think we also undermine the fact that everyone has their own struggle, and then they always look bigger than the next one. Yes, you may be worried about how to get 100 million. I may be stressed by how to keep it, and then that's what makes me that's what makes me not sleep at night. And then if there's always something that will not make you not sleep at night. And then for me that is important, because losing that means that I'm gonna be if I've got that 100 million, losing it means that I'm gonna be poor. So I have to stress about how to keep it, how to grow it. And then you on the other side, you also have your struggles. You are struggling to get that 100 million, and then that's what's keeping you awake at night. So it's I think we just have to accept that. There is we'll never reach the point of equality. All countries that have tried to achieve that, they've failed dismally. You will never reach the point in life whereby everyone will have the same amount. You will have the same amount of money, same amount of land as everyone around them. No. For one to be rich, he must take from other people as well. And then if they are not strong enough to protect what's theirs, then it is what it is. It's not, as I say that, guys, this is nature. It's like that. Why do we think that we are different from animals? Even animals understand, you know what? If I'm not strong enough, that one is gonna chow my territory. It's good. Lions understand this. If we are not strong enough, that other pride is gonna chow our territory, and then we are going to have the smaller territory because we are weaker. And then until we are become stronger, then we can claim bigger territories as well. So I don't know why people think that their struggle should be different, and then that they should be treated, especially that the people who are rich should really consider. You should actually be very, very thankful when rich people give you something, because they can choose not to give you. so it's like,
And also the issue with stuff like that as well is the fact that, again, even with your privileges also over time the same thing can change over time. You can be rich now and have a lot of money now and privilege, and go to a place where that's actually not a privilege. You know, like, again, it's like you can be in a position now where you're a man, and it's nice to be a man, and you're big and strong, and therefore it's a privilege. And move and go to a certain situation elsewhere, and it's like, oh, actually, being a male here is the worst thing possible. So therefore, that exact same thing is not a privilege elsewhere. So it's got to do with time, it's got to do with anything. So with everything. So even with your privileges and your prejudices, they change over time. They change even in the same time at the same place. I might say something now, because I'm a man, it might seem like, okay, no, that's not a privilege anymore to say. And then Mr. might go and I might say it to you, and it's like, oh, okay, well, now it's privilege. You can say stuff because now it's being a guy, it's a bit easier. So again, it goes back to the whole thing of the game works when you're the victim. That's why you want to see it that way. And it's obviously uncomfortable. Because then it doesn't work. Because then I have to concede that it's like if you look at even terms that are always widely used, like misogyny, for example, and again, like racism, toxic this and masculinity this. It all, like I said before, it always seems as though it's created by people that don't want you to then look at the opposite or the definition of it. You know, because if you do that, then it means that it actually works against them too. So you see misogynist, and then you ask the misogynist, do you know what the opposite of the word is? Like, why would I need to know that? It's like, because I mean, because of the definition of the word. If I'm being a misogynist, that's why you see women all the time. Oh, he's a misogynist. Okay, well, how about when you say you hate all men? Is that misandrist?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, how do you not know what that means?
Like, how do you
know what misogyny means? How do you not want to know what the opposite is? And the reason why you don't want to know what the opposite is because you don't want someone else to use it against you. So it actually then works for you not to know what it is. That's why we hear words like toxic masculinity and toxic femininity. And then as soon as masculinity, and when people say, oh, okay, well, it's like I was having a conversation with my cousin. I'm digressing a bit. But I was having a conversation with my cousin. I was asking her, look, what does this fragile masculinity mean? And she was like, well, look, it's something like if you're a male and I tell you that as a male, look, let's go and color things in, or let's go and cook, or let's go to a show. right? Like a play, for example, something that is mainly a feminine of nature, and you feel as though no, I can't do that. What the hell? Then your masculinity is fragile. Like, oh, okay, well, you know what? That could make sense if you define it that way. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so then it's like, now I have to look, Wayne, what's fragile femininity? And she was like, what the hell is that? Like, that's a good question. What is that? Now, I was like, well, if you use the same logic, the same definition of the term that you use,
Then
if you're a female, I tell you, let's go watch some boxing, or let's go and race some cars, or let's go watch some UFC, and then you say, oh man, that's so bloody, I can't do that. Well,
that's
then,
fragile
how is that
femininity.
not fragile femininity?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? The fragility of it is not about its weakness more than its malleability, the ability for it to withstand change. So if you have feminine qualities, and then I ask you to then use male qualities, and you struggle to do that, then how is that not fragile? So the reason why you're not taught that is because then it means that then you have to be the oppressor. And you being the oppressor then means that, oh, flip, I can actually then hurt someone else. And I'm not the only victim in the world.
Yeah, no, it's true. What you just said, exactly. That's why, and then that's why when they struggle to actually find the meaning or create action or find or accept the meaning for this, they will then create words that like GBV, like the words that are somewhere in the middle, but then they know that it can only apply on this side, or for example, feminism, for example, the textbook definition of it is one thing, but then you see how it's acted out there, it's a different thing. So it's trickery. So
at this point, there's no laws in this world.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what laws there are. We're just going to keep going against it and changing it, and no one's ever going to win, but we're going to do that until the end.
There are laws, but as long as whatever law there is, it doesn't affect you in a negative way. That's
no, but
law.
I'm saying that it doesn't matter.
There's no definition.
Because there's going to be a group of people who's going to then change it so that it advantages
It works for them.
And then another group's going to be like, oh, but that disadvantages us, so we're going to change it. And then it's just going to keep going on. And then it's going to be total chaos. It's already chaos.
Exactly.
So,
I think of it like I was trying to imagine, even when you're trying to be, let's say you were a guy and you fought back, let's say in apartheid or whatever, the slavery in America, and all of a sudden you have this like fight and you say, look, we're going to fight for Black people, and we're going to try to make sure that people of color are represented. And then you go up the ranks and you do it amicably, like you're really actually working to get to where you need to get to. Let's say you're the president to make change. Then you go and you say, flip, okay, now I'm going to go and try to uprise people, right? So I'm going to give them what they want, right? Every single time you give them what they want something else. They want something else. They want something else. And now you have to privilege them over everyone else. And then you get to a point where you realize, well, look, so if I'm making things like the BE and I'm making things like, what do you call it, quota systems, whether it's for females or whether it's for whether it's for gender, whether it's for color, the more I do that, I'm making sure that these people are more advantageous or privileged than other people, right? And therefore, the same principle that I'm trying to fight against, I'm actually now giving back an uprising.
Exactly.
Right? And now all of a sudden you find that now, so now you're giving away homes, right? You're giving away homes to Black people that were previously privileged. Jonathan gets born tomorrow. Jonathan doesn't have a home. Why doesn't he have one?
Yeah, and then it's going to
So now he's going to come up in a few years and say, look, why don't you build me a home? I don't have a home.
Yeah.
So what's going on then? Oh, no, because you're white. Well, what's that going to do with you trying to uplift everyone? Because then don't say you're uplifting everyone. Say that I'm only doing this for these people and against those people. Because when they do that, then you can't say, oh, no, that's wrong. Because it's exactly what you would do.
You know,
so I can understand a lot of like the white people that left South Africa, for example. It's like, well, look, yes, for example, these white people benefited in a certain way through apartheid. But then as soon as something else came about, they were like, well then, I'm going to suffer from this. I'm not just me, everyone else that comes after me that's not even going to be part of the kinds that I created. So why would I be here? And the way that things are, I'm going to disappear. That's why people like Mandela and Mahatma Gandhi are so unique, because they just said, look, we can go around, we can make ranks about who's more oppressed and who's more of a victim. It's white people today. Tomorrow, black people today. Tomorrow it's females. The next day it's trans people. The next day it's Mexicans. It's like everyone is oppressed, and you can always, but in the same breath, you are also an oppressor. And as soon as you can see that, then you'll be able to say, "Ooh, actually, let me be careful whenever I told someone else, look, you're oppressing me," because they're going to turn around and say the same thing to me, and then it'll be true, and they'll kill me for it.
Yeah, adding on what also Mishka said about there will be no laws. There will be no laws in such a way that for laws to be there has to be a standard. And then right now, the word standard is almost as if it's an insult. Because if you can check, there is nothing that you can literally say without offending anyone. If I can say that I'm a vegetarian, for example, if like there's a meme that has been going around of a guy who wants to take a picture of about 5 guys, and then he says, like, say cheese, and then there's a vegan there that say, no, you can't say cheese, that's offensive. That offends me. And then he says, okay, let's say smile then, and then the other one says, no, you cannot say smile because you are enforcing your emotions, you are dictating what other people should see. And then you are so there's really nothing that you can say without actually offending. You cannot say that, no, I want to eat steak, because you are going to offend the people that don't eat steak, and then they might also gang up and then start a community and then want to cancel you for saying that you want to eat steak. You cannot. There's really nothing. You cannot proudly say that. You cannot say that, okay, I'm a straight man, because that means you like women. And then if you like women, what about the gay people? Does that mean that you hate the gay people? So at the end of the day, then laws start being this fluid thing.
Exactly.
Thing that you cannot actually hold or try to have. And then they're also enforcing that even in schools right now. You cannot, for example, say ladies and gentlemen, because you are offending those that don't feel that
who don't identify as that.
And then, so now at the end of the day, it's gonna be you are going to have to say sorry before everything. You are going to have to say, I apologize if I offend anyone. You're going to have a disclaimer. You have to put a disclaimer before every statement. I mean, why are we even going there?
Why converse?
Yeah.
It's
very, very sad.
Exactly.
It's just I can just see it getting out of control from this point. Like, it's just
Want to spoil press.
Honestly, it's just gonna end in complete chaos.
Yeah, it's gonna end in complete. Gonna end in complete chaos, because there are people that will not. There are people that will not tolerate this, and then there are also people that will actually take. It's always, I mean, things like this, they will always, I think that maybe there's always going to be a reset at some point, whereby other people will be like, you know what, we are tired. The same thing, for example, that white people are doing in South Africa. Like, okay, we are tired of this country, we are leaving, we are taking all our money, we are going out. It's fine. It's what's going to happen. And after they have left, it's going to be, we're going to find the next victim. Maybe it's going to be the Indians. And then also the Indians are going to also say, you know what, I'm tired of this, and then we leave. And then, why? Because we don't want to have standards. We just want to blame. And then we also don't want to have laws. We just want laws to be fluid. I mean, look at the matter of rape. How grey rape has been right now. Rape has been so grey in such a way that you don't know even if you don't know if you have raped.
You don't, or have been raped. There's another point on that. While we go, just to come in quickly. There was a girl that there was a post that these girls made. It was an account on Facebook
Yeah.
about like I think there was something happened in Rhodes, right? Something happened in Rhodes or something. A guy got
Yeah.
jailed or something. Anyway, so
Yeah.
everyone was going on about, oh my gosh, I didn't know that, if you're drunk, then that means that you can't consent, and therefore you have then most probably been raped. So that
Yes.
means that I have been raped so many times, and it's been tragic, and um,
Yes.
I've gone through
Now
ACE, and I've
I've
gone
got
through all this.
trauma. Now I've got
Yes,
trauma from this because I
yes,
had sex while I was drunk and I was raped. I'm a
yes.
victim. Yeah.
I'm a victim of the rape, right? And it's like, yeah, so
Yeah.
fuck that, yeah, that all sounds like it's terrible, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's wicked, and everyone was going in there trying to, have some safe space and trying to, write messages and
Yes.
make the victim feel or the victim, because you never know who the victim is, make the victim feel a bit better, and oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Yeah, actually, there's a story that I had as well when I was with my boyfriend. I was drinking, and um, all of a sudden, then we had sex, and the next day I woke up and I didn't feel as though I was right, but it was right, so therefore I felt as though this wasn't right, but at the same time I didn't know what was going on. But now that this whole judgment has been passed, and that I can now safely say that I've been raped because I could not give consent because I was drunk.
Mm.
I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I remember I asked one of the girls there, I wrote it as a comment. I was like, yeah, like this absolutely terrible. Like if it's happened, absolutely terrible, and you should by the law, you should go and report these people and try to make sure that they're not going to do it again, right? And you should always make sure that it's not going to happen to the next person, right? And it should be your choice, but try to make sure that
Exactly.
you do something about it because
Yes.
it hurts you, right?
Yes.
And they were like, yeah, no, for sure. Like he's definitely going to do something, going to push for something, and we're going to make sure that all of these, because we're all hurt and we're all victims of this, right? And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Also, just make sure that these people that you've had sex with from these nights out and groove and these house parties and stuff weren't drunk themselves.
Mm.
Because if they were, then you're also going to go to jail because you also were raped.
Yes, because you are right there. Because I once wrote a post on Facebook whereby I was also saying, I was also, in fact, I was questioning, probing this thing of consent, and I was asking if a person can be. I was asking if a person can be culpably can have some, can be blamed for rape. And then well, I got different responses, because here's what happens. Let's say, for example, Puzo gets raped, and then after Puzo gets raped, he keeps quiet about the rape, and then the rapist continues to rape other 20 people, and then maybe, let's say, the rapist also has HIV, and then he's spreading this disease, and then Puzo is quiet because Puzo is traumatized. And then the rapist continues. And then when Puzo decides to go and then report the rape, then we also discover that these people, there's also 20 other people that have been raped by the same person that raped Puzo. And then so I was asking, can Puzo take some blame for not reporting this? And then they said, no, you can't take this because rape is a complicated and it's a sensitive matter, and then sometimes people are not comfortable going there. But I'm like, okay, but then, okay, would we say the same about when would we say the same when a fire, let's say my house is burning here, and then let's say I live in a shack, maybe in a shack community, and then my shack is burning here, and instead of telling other people that, hey, my shack is burning here at night, then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna get out and then keep quiet, while the fire still spreads all over the place and then everything. And then they say, no, it's not the same thing because rape is sensitive and it's about people. It's a bodily autonomy trauma. I'm like, okay, I could be traumatized by fire as well, and maybe my child could have died there as well, and then that could have, and then. So you find that at every point the posts will keep on shifting, and then even to the issue of HIV.
they'll alter the way that they're thinking, or they'll alter their definitions to make sure that the bigger picture makes me the
Yeah.
victim and that's the oppressor. And if you
Yes.
find that then I'm an oppressor somewhere, I have to alter the game again. So it's
Yes.
exactly the same with what you're saying now with this whole, okay, well, if you've been raped and you're drunk and someone
Yes.
else is drunk and you
Yes.
guys have sex, you both rape each other. You
Yes.
should both be in jail. It's like, oh, no, doesn't work. Okay, I need to change it again. No, I
Yes.
can't be the victim. Oh, so this law now, oh, no, I don't like this law anymore. Okay.
Yes, because it's as simple as in the other things is as simple. I'm sleepy, and then while I'm sleeping, then my girlfriend decides in the morning that, you know what, I'm gonna surprise this guy, wake this guy with some fellowship, I'm gonna fillet this guy in the body, and then that means she's a rapist because I didn't say yes, I didn't consent, I was asleep, and then she decided that she's gonna do this. So is that does she now deserve to go to jail? Does she now deserve? And then they will say that for example say that if a woman is interested, if for it not to be rape, a woman has to be enthusiastic about saying yes. It has to be an enthusiastic yes. So now, can we say that rape is the opposite? Can we say that rape is an like rape is a harsh no? And then no, they don't want you to go there because now that means that now it takes away the responsibility. It takes away the responsibility for them to say no, because they, you see. So and also it also I think everyone wants everything to be gray, to be gray, so that they can actually yeah, you understand. It's actually it's all an
It
attempt
works
to,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, it works out better if everything is not defined properly. Because then it means
Yes.
that then whenever it's defined, whenever there comes a time whereby I'm the one that has to now be the brunt of the definition, I can always alter.
Yes.
So whenever, that's what I had a conversation with Nsimi now a few days ago as well about that, about the fact that it's like, okay, so if something has happened to you and you're the victim of whatever it is, you're the victim of racism, you're the victim of gender-based violence, whatever the hell it is, you're the victim of something, right? We can then say that the person that's oppressing you, you're going to absolutely annihilate them. It's like, yeah, of course, let's go there and annihilate that person. Okay,
Yes.
let's say, it's what you were saying earlier. Okay, well, let's say that someone raped your daughter. Oh, yeah, make sure we have to go kill that person. Okay,
Yes.
okay. So that means that that's the oppressor. Yes, for sure, he's the oppressor. Okay. And then there's going to come a knock at your door one day with all these definitions that you're making. There's going to come a knock at your door one day. And one of the victims is going to come through there and say, look, I'm a guy, and I went out and I had a drink. And then after I had a drink, my girl, your daughter, then tried to then have sex with me. And we had sex. But I didn't consent, right? So therefore she raped me. So can I please come through here and arrest her? And then what's going to happen? Oh, no, the thing is, my daughter can't do that. I know who she is. I know how my daughter is. It's not this type of thing. And all of a sudden, when it comes to your door and it comes knocking, then those definitions all of a sudden have to be altered. They have to be changed. Same with what I was saying now with racism. It's like, yeah, okay, it makes sense to say why people are racist. Why people are racist. Because black people have never been racist in the beginning. Whatever definition you have. Now all of a sudden you've been saying white people are racist so many times that then white people are proud of it. And they're saying, actually, you know, the one time when you called me a word that I didn't like, or you referred to your friends of yours about me being white, I didn't like that. And I actually took it as racist. So now you're racist too. That's when you say, no. But racism requires power. Ah, okay. You have to alter it when it comes on. So you basically you make the definition as you go, because if you define it now, it becomes a problem for you in the future, because you also capable of doing it.
Yes, I agree with you there. And then do you know why? I think I also believe that is where, because whenever there's gray areas, whenever there's gray areas across the society, be it in law, and everything, that is where that actually signifies a lack of leadership. and also that's also, and then that is where now. That is when now religion fills that gap, because that is the religion that's the gap that's a market, that's a gap in the market that religion will always capitalize on. Because with religion, you know that the Bible is there, it's written like that, the Quran is there, and then it's written like that, the rules are clear, this is what it is, this is what it is, this is what it is. And then after, when people are tired of these gray areas, they will always opt for what. They will always opt for that. They will also always reset to that, because at the end of the day, people need clarity. You need clarity yourself. You want the laws that you know. Okay, this is where the line is, and then if I skip this, and then, so now that is where religion enters into the market. That's where actually religion captures. And then, but then now. The sad part about, for example, about Christianity, you'll find that even Christianity itself, they are trying to do the same thing. Even with the Bible, they are trying to use the same lawlessness that is happening in the society. They also want to, and then they've actually hacked it in such a way that even if you can actually, there are laws, there are laws or commandments that Christians no longer even want to look at. For example, they no longer even want to act. Put that one aside. So now, sort of like they are cafeteria Christians. They pick and choose the verses that they want to apply. This thing is so sick that it's even getting there. It's even getting there. Like that madness is going there. Like currently, I cannot think of any religion that is as gray as Christianity. It's very, very, very gray. Not that the Bible itself, just that the people, the leadership that is there, they've made it so great such that everyone can be everyone. They want everyone to win. But then the fact of the matter is that for if there's right and wrong, everyone cannot win. Then people can be corrected. They have to be corrected. So now the right and wrong has to be no, it's not wrong, it's not right, it's somewhere there. And then it's very, very sad that is happening, and then it's very, very sad that is happening. And also the leaders, the people who are supposed to be actually giving direction in this, they also are perpetrating this, because they are also benefiting. I mean, they're also benefiting from this, because I mean, if you were to say, okay, here are the rules, this is what you should do, this is what you should not do. I mean, I doubt you will have 20 people in that church currently, because a lot of it's prosperity Christianity. They go there so that they can be told that all is good. They can be all millionaires, and then they can all have everything that they desire if they pray. And then they not really much emphasis on hard work. It's fine as long as they pay their share. As long as they pay their church taxes, and then everything will be fine. No emphasis on hard work. Everyone is told that they can win, and then so it's very, very sad. And then it's very sad if it's actually spilling into religion, you see. So because at the end of the day, as much as I actually get a little bit very I try to shy away from talking about religion. But then the sad thing is that even that, which was like sort of the last pillar of actually enforcing morality and of keeping morality order, it's also eroded as well. It's eroded badly.
I'm not Christian, so I don't have anything to say.
You can add on to all the other stuff that we talked about.
I'm good. Touched on a lot of things.
What? What did you say?
I'm good. I don't have anything to say.
You've reached your brain quota for the night.
You enforcing your quota on me.
Speaking of quotas, I think that's the worst thing that anything could have ever happened. That quota systems, females and female quotas and male quotas. It's the same thing, just the opposite. You're just trying to please the one crowd, and then this
Yeah.
please another by doing the exact same principle.
Yeah, no, it's the quota system. You know, the quota system is the cancel culture and all those things. They're actually there to make sure that people who don't do much work can get something, can get something
Yeah.
out of it. Cancel
So I
culture.
just want to like go back quickly to like our initial question.
Yeah.
Like what I
Yeah.
don't understand is how still we have to use this word prejudice, right? It's such a fancy word. Like there's no it sounds like it can't be ugly. And that's
Mm.
you know, like and I feel like
It's
you
a
know, like
beautiful word.
a person of color to person of color, that is such ugly racism that goes on.
Mm.
Sometimes it's even worse than
Mm.
white to color.
Mm.
But now you have
The
to
same
use
with the same with gender.
pretty
Like
word,
female,
prejudice,
female.
you know, that half the people who's doing it don't even know what it means. And it just, for me, it doesn't make sense because we in South Africa, right? It also then, and it, just the atmosphere of the country is like, oh no, but you know, if a white guy arrests me and I can just, you know, play it out in a certain way, and then I'm gonna get off, and he'll get in trouble,
And,
not
and
me.
that's a privilege. And
Yeah.
that's a
So
privilege.
how is that
Mm.
not racism? Because that black guy's he's got the power. You're in a country that's
Yeah.
the whole country is on that. It's the whole country now is built on, it's standing on people of color having the power. So how are we not able to use the word racism?
Mm. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, that it goes back to what we're saying now with privileges. Like, everyone has a privilege, and your privileges
Yeah.
change over time. You can be spotted out as a black guy because you're black, right? And that puts you at a disadvantage. So that person now is now privileged to now arrest you. But now when they arrest you, you can then use that in the exact same situation. You can use your then color to then be racist towards this white person that's arresting you, and then he can be cancelled. And that's you using your privilege. And that's what privileges are. That's what talents are. You need to use them because that's how that's how society moves. Like if you're better at something than me, you need to then go and get the job. But then that means that I won't get the job. But that doesn't mean that you're oppressing me. That means that I'm just going to get the job. And that's the conversation that we need to have is when does it actually prejudice, or when is it oppressive, and when is it actually something that you need to do? Because again, it's like if you're a guy and you're working hard and you're absolutely always want to speak about everyone else, of course you should then be one of the leaders. Because why would I be quiet and then want to do that and then be in a situation where I'm in a board meeting and I can't even speak? So therefore, use your privileges, because your privileges means that then I will then, when I'm quiet, you'll be able to be my boss, and I'll be able to actually have work. So our privileges are always going to be like that. You need some other people to have their privileges and talent, so that then you know where you're going to stack up, right? It's like and that's what choice is as well. If you are a chick and you say, look, I like black guys, like, are you prejudiced against white people, against Latinos? Are you prejudiced? Like, what is it? It's your choice. Okay, fair enough. What if a white girl says that I like white guys only? Is she racist towards black people? Is she racist against colored people? What is it then? So it's like your choices are privileges. You pick one thing over another because you privilege that person over that thing over something else. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're oppressing that thing. It means that you have to have a choice.
Yeah.
And all these people that push these narratives, even in their life, they don't express that. It's like, yeah, we want equality for everything. But okay, cool. What do you eat? What do you listen to? You listen to Avril Lavigne. You listen to Beyonce. Well, why don't you listen to everyone else that has never made it and can sing just as beautiful as Beyonce? Well, you privilege Beyonce ahead of them. But that doesn't mean you're oppressing those people. What are you going to eat tonight? Well, I love fish and I don't want to eat pasta. Okay, well then how about we equalize that and make you eat pasta every single day together with fish? So you have to privilege something else and not privilege others. So even in your own life, you do that. Now all of a sudden you're going to walk out and say, look, you want equality, you want equality. You don't even do that in your life with your choices. You pick a certain phone instead of another phone. You pick to live in a certain place instead of another place. Because this place is better than that place. So then why can't this person be better than this person in that particular thing? How is that supposed to be then a prejudice against that person?
No, you are right there, because I think we have been so used. I mean, there are words, as Mishka said, that the word privilege itself. There are words that are just created there to make things gray and then to create confusion. As for example, the word privilege. If you want to get a clearer sense, a sense that will actually not make one feel guilty about its advantage, or okay, this person has an advantage, you can. But then the minute you no longer use the word privilege and then you use the word advantage, then you realize, well, that person should not feel. Can you feel bad about your advantages? You can't feel bad about your advantages. Instead, if you have them, you capitalize on them, and then you shoot as you should, because they are yours. They are your advantages. And then you look at
work for them.
Yes.
And the whole point that we live is to make sure that we are at a better advantage, even than yourself the day before. That you're more privileged tomorrow than you are today. That's why you work. Yes. So now all of a sudden, are you oppressing your yesterday self?
Yeah. But then they will use the word privilege so that at least you will feel guilty, and then from there they will go on to words like for example, I'm not sure if there's any word that has been overused more than the word toxic in the last 5 years. The word toxic. Toxic.
It's not even being used that much in chemistry. They don't even use it in chemistry anymore. They don't even know what the meaning of it is.
Toxic. This is toxic, and then you get those words, and then you find that okay, when you check these words, and then you also check on words. For example, there was a case of a guy who he had a wife, and then this wife, and then he had a wife. The Mustang guy, he was dating. He was dating someone's wife, and then he got shot. The husband killed him and then killed the wife as well. And then they were also trying to say, okay, this is GBV and all that. But then when they say GBV, it covers everything. And then whenever we say GBV, all we think of is that okay, a woman has been victimized. That's the gloss part of it. But then if you actually go drill down, they don't want to say, okay, here we are not dealing with a case of GBV here. Firstly, we are dealing with there's a case of murder. People are dead. There's a case of homicide, it's homicide, and then we're also dealing with a case of infidelity. There's also a infidelity here that has been happening, and then we're also dealing with a case of a case of violence. This is domestic violence. But I know they will want to say, let's find a word that will actually gloss over everything, and then we'll call this word GBV. And then when we say GBV, it sounds nice. It's marketable, because at the end of the day, we must understand that all these words that are created, they are actually weapons, and then they are assets in the hands, in the minds, and in the hands of politicians who use them. Because a politician can just say that I will fight GBV. And then from there, he's going to get votes from, he knows that women are going to support him. He's going to get votes from, because he said he will fight GBV. But then what exactly is GBV? Okay. If you break it down.
I feel like the GBV has now become the new term for domestic violence, and they're actually not the same thing.
Yes.
Even uses it. I remember going to Spa the other day, and they had it on their plastics. And they said, fight GBV. And I was like, oh, I hate this place. Like, what the hell is going on? It's the same thing that the EPL do when they say, we'll take a knee for racism. Like, what does football have to do with racism? And even with that, it's like, what if I don't support it? And now if you stand up, if you, let's say you are racist, and you stand up at a football game, all of a sudden you're going to stand up.
Or you bend a knee. What's bending a knee gonna do to some guy who's being clapped there for being stupid? So politicians do that. They do that, and then, for example, they will say that that's how they actually steal money, and then that's how they create this. Because if they say, for example, we have got a 12 million budget for GPV, and then for GPV they are done, then they can take that money and then chow it or drink beer with it, and then call just one woman there, and then make one campaign there, and then from there the campaign goes viral. They say, all right, we funded that, and then so it's a political asset, and it's something that if you go into politics as well, you must also use it, because if you don't use it, other people are gonna use it. Other people are gonna, because because no, these words are emotional, like they create emotions, because the minute you say, okay, it's GPV, then you know that because I fight for GPV, women are going to think that. But then if you were to be specific about that, and then that's where the hard work comes, because now it means that you have to break what you mean by GPV. And then in breaking that, they don't want to go there, because once you break it down, you're sort of auditing this entire asset, for example. But then if you say, okay, I'm going to make sure that the people who rape go to jail, or the people who, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to empower families in making sure that they go through counseling, and then people get there are counselors that go there. We try to solve the family problems. We try to find. They don't want to do that, because that is now you are bringing
work.
Yes, and then into
work.
Now laziness can't feature there, because now and then if laziness can't feature, then you can't get votes.
Yeah, exactly that, bro. It's like we can't. They can't afford to define the term. As soon as they do, like again, gender-based violence, because as soon as you do that, you know that you will get to a point where you realize, oh shit, actually, females actually hit men more than males do.
Yes.
But males do much more damage.
Yes.
So therefore, now when you have to go through that, you have to then concede that even in these GBV talks,
yes,
that even when you find that a male is guilty, if a female struck her any single time, she's just as guilty.
Yes.
And as soon as you do that, then you have to then also become the oppressor.
Yes.
And then it doesn't work for you anymore. The game doesn't work. So I'd rather just, play it out and just give the term and make it wishy-washy, because if it's wishy-washy, I can always alter it whenever I feel like it, and use it as political too. Just like racism. It's like, again, take the knee. Like, okay, and then what? It's not going to stop someone from being racist, bro. Three black English guys, it's probably actually going to even make it worse, because now it stands out. Now it's like, oh, okay, cool, well, I know how to irritate them. Every time a black guy does something wrong, we're just going to say, flip, fuck this in guy. And then there's going to be another campaign. There's another campaign.
Yeah.
People are going to jump onto that and create more money and more money. And it's like, actually, how many lives have you saved? How many lives have you changed? Oh, well, no, it doesn't matter. We're just going to keep feeding this because it's emotional. And Black Lives Matter. Okay, cool, let's go push this thing. And then as soon as I can get my house, then I'm just going to leave these people. And it happens every single time when you give people incentives for certain things that they can then make terms whereby the terms are not logical, but they're emotional. Perfect. Okay, body shame. Oh my God, body positivity. What does that mean? Oh, it means that if you're big, you can then feel inclusive. Inclusivity, that's another one. And then it's like, okay, cool, let's make a little circle for us here. Okay, what does it mean, guys? It means that people can't body shame you and you should be proud of your body. Oh, okay, great, perfect. But I'm dying, I have heart disease because I'm big. Now what? Hey, look, be proud of yourself. Be proud of yourself. And you're going to land up in hospital. You're going to land up in hospital.
You don't have to be responsible because you're going to kill yourself. Don't worry about it. As long as you include it.
You are fine the way you are. You don't have to do anything. You are fine with the way you are. You are perfect. You are
when you're on your fourth total hip replacement or your total knee replacement, and all of a sudden, where are those people now? Oh no, well she's in hospital. She's not part of that campaign. Leave that.
Yeah.
You're only going to want these goals to come up, and then these goals come up, and then there's the next coronary bypass surgery for someone else passes away because of their weight. No, but I'm pushing a campaign here. What's going on? And then what happens is then you become a victim of the exact same thing. Because now when you start getting sick and you're pushing that campaign and you now want to lose weight, what happens then? They're going to come out after you because now you become part of the people that have been shaming them this whole time. Now you're no longer the victim, now you're the oppressor. And not only that, you have also been the oppressor every single time that you've looked at a guy and said, oh my gosh, I want a tall, dark, and handsome guy. I don't want the short guy. What about that? Isn't that a problem thing? No, it's my preference. Yes, exactly. Because why? You don't want to be the victim. Every single time you say, I want someone with genitalia like this and not like that, or is that a choice, or is that body shaming? Well, it's a choice. Okay, well, what about a guy says, look, I don't want the big girl, I want the thin girl. Body shaming, because I'm the victim here. I can't be the oppressor. So these terms always have to be used in a way by people that have something to gain as an incentive at some point or another in their campaign.
Yeah, and I always laugh at those disclaimers, that they make when they want to. They'll always say that instead of just saying that right now they're actually aware that men are aware of the fact that of the fact that they're actually aware that men can actually spot the lie in that. So now, whenever they want to say something, they will say, not to offend anyone, but it's my preference. I prefer tall guys. You see, I don't like short guys. I prefer tall guys, or I prefer this and that, this and that, and then not to offend anyone. So now there always has to be a disclaimer. They also cannot even be able to actually say their preferences with pride, because they have to make a disclaimer. Because if a guy, I mean, there's a classic one of a guy there's a classic one of a woman who says, for example, that of a woman who says, I mean, those Tinder profiles, funny Tinder profiles, that that you find that the trending, whereby women specify the guys that they want. Okay, I want a guy with who's educated, who has earns this much, and then is of this height, and then doesn't have kids, doesn't have because I don't want baby mama drama. That's what they would say, for example, that the guy must. But when you get a guy on the other side, the guy would say, okay, I want a woman who's of this age, and then she must also not be a baby. She must not have kids, and then she must also be of a certain weight or certain height. Then all of a sudden, then they comes blazing. No, you can't say that. That's your body shaming. You hate women. You are a misogynist and everything. And also even the word, as you said before, that the word misogynist is the one that they never care about. What's the opposite of it? Or okay, what's actually the opposite of it? They don't really pay attention to that, because it doesn't concern them. And then I think the sad part as well, it's when you see that even the men are actually jumping onto this, because there's been actually a significant number of men who are also jumping on this thing of tiptoeing around the truth and everything, which is quite sad. And they also. But then I also understand even politicians do that. They're playing the game, and then there are things that you must say right. And then if you make a mistake and then you say something wrong, you're going to get cancelled. And so there are politicians who understand the game very well. That even if they are interviewed and then about something that they feel that no, this is not the right. They have to say the right words, and then they will survive the next day. They will survive for the next day in the media.
Yeah, bro. Exactly that. I mean, look, it's like the whole men are trash thing. It's like as soon as every girl that has ever used that term has been a misandry.
Yeah.
If you tell them that, they don't even know what the term is.
Yeah.
It's like, well, every single time you tell me that men are trash and men are dogs, you're a misandry. Just like if every single time you say anything negative about a person because of their skin color, whether that person is Arabic, whether that person is Filipino, whether they're Japanese, whether they're pale skin from Ireland, you are a racist. Even if you are a white person saying that to another white person, you are a racist, because you're judging someone by their color. No matter if you're a black person doing the exact same thing with a black person, you're judging that person by their color. So you have to be part of the term that you use. You can't have your own terms every now and then whenever you want to do it.
That's
Nishi, what do you want to say?
bad. Like there's prejudices are the new what you call political bullets right now, and then people are using them properly, and then they are winning. So you must also complain about your prejudices as well, saying people are this against me and all that. So it's terrible. It's a circus. It's a shit show.
Nishi?
Yeah, that's why I just don't bother with anyone. I just live in my own world.
Yeah, to be honest, I actually think like I actually that is probably one of the only things that has kept me sane is to just like yes, being part of groups you can't really help you can't help not be part of a group just by existing. You're gonna be part of a group. You're gonna be middle
Yeah.
class. You're gonna be South African. You're gonna be black. You're gonna be of a certain whatever it is. You're gonna
Yeah.
be male. You can't help that. But I think paying attention too much to the group culture and paying attention too much to
Yeah.
like I've got my own issues, bro. I've got my own
It's
problems and
exhausting. It
goals that
takes
I
so
want
much
to
of your
reach.
energy. Like, why would you want to do
Guys,
that? And then the next person doesn't even give a
yeah.
shit about you and your feelings. So why get
They
upset?
only give a shit about you as long as you give shit about them. And then as
Yeah.
soon as that's why these groups crumble. Is because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, let's go band into a group together. And as soon as we're in a group together, we can all fight for a common cause. But actually,
Yeah.
the cause is not common. Your cause is not common at all. It's just that it's different to that person. Very different. And then as soon as you fight and you win against that person, then you go and you say, okay, well, yeah, so we're black people and we won against the Mexicans. Okay, what do we do now? Okay, well, then you say, Michi, oh, well, the next step is now to make sure that we go against every single male that has bullied us. And I say, oh, but wait, I'm the male. So now all of a sudden, now we switch sides. Now I have to go, and then now you're fighting against me. And then, oh, I'm going to go against the people that are non-vaccinated. Oh my gosh, and I'm going to be part of the group that I just almost violated, and I need them to now fight the games that we're fighting. It's just too many things, and again, like I said, you can't run away from the fact that you're going to be part of a group somewhere. And I think it's just the way that it kept me saying is to just say, look, I'm part of it, fine, but I'll deal with my own personal issues personally. I mean, there's so many problems that you can take as a person. Like you have so many issues from childhood to now, and we're probably going to have even more that you haven't even solved or don't even know where to begin. And you look underneath the carpet and you think, oh man, I've still got someone that bullied me 5 years ago. I still have someone that bullied me 10 years ago. I haven't even solved that, and I want to run around and
Yeah,
try
and
to
I
fix
just find it like so,
Black Lives
like
Matter.
really like just so like it's such a waste of time. Like I honestly I think I've just reached this point where I'm just gonna do whatever makes me happy.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna try and sort out like childhood issues. I'm gonna go see a therapist. The therapist is gonna tell me, oh, that's a self-esteem issue. Oh, that's a daddy issue. But like, is she then like what makes what she's saying to me the right thing? Like, and now what am I supposed to do with that information? Now it's like
Now
causing
what?
more chaos. And now I'm like an adult and I stuffed all those bad memories aside and I was living my life. Now you're going to scratch it all out and mess up my whole life again. Like, just do you guys. Just, ugh.
Yeah, man, that's the only thing you can keep saying. Like I said again, you have so many first. I think though the reason why people delve into these big issues is so that they the smoke screen for what you have personally. Like, well, I can just go out there and try to make all these terms and make people go chaotic because then I can then forget about my drunk uncle. I can then forget about my abusive mother. I can then forget about my issues that I have back home and things that I have to pay and my like all of these things that I have, I can just run away from it. And I just say, look, I'm just gonna go get a group of men, for instance, get a group of men and fight certain causes with them. And then when I do that, that means that I can forget about the fact that I have to, go and face the issues that I have at home and with my sisters and my brothers and all that stuff. And the more I pay attention there, that's going to run away. Whereas actually the opposite happens. The more you run away, the more these ones just pile up. And then when you go back and you look again, it's like, oh shit, fuck, that's actually more than yesterday. Okay, well, let me go out and go and drink again. And let's see how they are tomorrow. And maybe they're going to be diminished. They're going to take care of themselves. Like, nope, it's not going to happen, man. It's not going to take care of themselves. It's going to go back there tomorrow. And then now you have a hangover and that problem. So everything will just compound and compound and compound. And the more you try to fight the problems, the easier it will be for you, who you think it is, to then fight, not take a look at your problems. But your problems are going to go away. It's just going to get worse and worse. It's exactly what I was saying now with this whole body shame. Oh, well, you know what? I'm just going to tell that person that their body shaming me. It's like, okay, what are your arteries saying? Well, they're saying that they're going to clot, regardless of who's body shaming you. They're going to clot. And what are your joints saying? They're saying they're going to give you pain. Pain is not prejudice. It'll give you pain. It's not toxic. It's not none of that thing. And as soon as that happens, then you'll sit down and say, maybe I need to go and get this knee replacement. Maybe I need to go and lose this weight. And that's the issue that you need to fight. It's exactly the same on the opposite side. If you're anorexic, your body's going to say, hey, how about we eat today? And then you're going to say, no, you're body shaming me. Well, your body's not going to body shame you. What are you going to do? You're going to say, okay, well, let me wait for someone else that's going to say, oh my gosh, you're awfully thin. And I'm going to say, hey, it's not body shaming me. Treat me better. It's like, okay, well, what is your kidney saying? What are your livers saying? They're not going to be prejudiced. They want food. They want to be hydrated. They want to be taken care of properly. So biology is not going to run around and say, oh, okay, well, I'm going to stop discriminating. Now, when you end up in hospital and now you're faced with all of that, then you're going to say, perhaps I need to sort these issues out. Perhaps it's not the people out there that are telling me that I'm super thin. Perhaps my body actually has a specific weight that it can then regulate itself, where it reaches the homeostasis, and it's not that big and it's not that thin. And it's like, well, exactly. But when I gain weight, for example, I can feel it. Like I can say whatever I want to say to someone else and say, oh my God, you know, I hate the fact that you say my cheeks are big. Like, okay, I might hate that. But when I go for a jog, my heart says, well, I don't care what you hate. My carotid arteries don't say they oh no, we're oppressing. I'm dying and I can't catch my next breath. Now what do I do? I have to sit down and take care of it.
Like the thing with it also, like, say for instance, right, so we body positive and I end up with diabetes, right? Everyone's cheering me on. I am just killing myself. Next thing you know, my leg has to be amputated. No, but we're still body positive. We don't exclude people with one leg or 1.5 legs. Now you're gonna make me get my other leg amputated because woohoo, Mishka is like, you know, she's not scared to do this, and it's
she's
insane.
A champion. Mishka is a champion of people without legs. So now you must also start your own body positivity group of people.
You see, no accountability. There's no accountability there.
That's the problem.
You're not saying, oh shit, I messed this up.
Yeah.
I'm killing myself by listening to these people. Like, there's absolutely nothing. As long as you fit in somewhere, you good.
The thing is, as long as you benefit from it with an incentive, if it makes you feel good, or if there is a monetary value to it, then you push that campaign.
Yeah.
And I think the sad part is that even the doctors right now, they are afraid of telling people publicly that, you know what, if you gain too much weight, these are the health problems. They are also afraid. I mean, if you listen to the radio when they have interviews in the radio, you can understand that these people are trying, they know the truth, but then they're tiptoeing around. They're also being afraid of being cancelled. They're also being afraid of they're afraid of telling. They're afraid of being cancelled because they know that a person can just say that, or a certain celebrity can just go and say, Dr. So-and-so said I'm fat, and then it's fat shaming, and then now this is what's going. And also, so you can already see And then this is actually where we actually have to be scared, because when we get the people that we trust our lives with, that we trust our scared, then that is dangerous. We are actually entering into a very, very dangerous territory that we might not be able to get out to get out of it alive. And then it's very, very sad. I've noticed they are very, very scared. They are very, very scared of actually telling people that, you know what, you guys have to lose weight. This is the healthy weight. If you eat this, you're gonna get abdominal obesity. You're gonna get this. Then you're gonna get high blood. You're gonna get. They're afraid of saying those things. Instead, you get the people that know nothing about these things, that know nothing about health or anything, being the ones that are championing these things and then selling this unhealthy lifestyle, and then saying that that they look good. I mean, you just go to any of those pages whereby they say that the big girls group, and you can see that this person, this is not normal. This person is sick, and then this person needs a doctor's attention immediately. But then they will say no, it's fine. And then you know what the fashion industry is also saying. The fashion industry was also cashing up on it. It's like, oh, okay, now we didn't get a chance the slim people aren't buying this anymore, so we didn't get a chance to sell bikinis to them. Let's now take an entire ketting and then create another bikini for them, and then we sell it at 500 rand, and then they're gonna buy it. So, and then they also are afraid of telling, no, this is not the right weight. No. Instead, they create clothes for them, and then from there, then become. So it's almost I think it's also what happens in it's how the capitalist society gets to decline, gets to. It's actually, we're actually at the peak, and then it's starting to decline, because now everyone is about getting his share of money, and then keeping quiet. You see, because at the end of the day, you see the even healthy food. Doctors are now afraid of saying, you know what, you cannot keep on eating this unhealthy food. It's bad for your health. Why? Because Debonese is going to get him cancelled, or Debonese is going to say it's going to, or McDonald's is going to say this. So everyone is afraid of saying, and then instead, what do? They're like, okay, we're going to sit back and cash on it. And then that's what they're doing. And then people are dying on the other side. You don't have 2 legs, you lost 2 legs, and then you're also going to lose an arm because of diabetes, and then you say, oh, no, let's be body positive. Let's support this. No, we cannot continue doing that. We just can't.
You know, just going back to that as well, man. You know, like even at work, for example, it's like what I was saying earlier. You know yourself. Like, you know what the issues are. You know what the problems. You know what you need to know. You might not have to hear it, but you actually need to. And I find a lot of the times, like when someone asks you a certain amount of questions, for example, and in your mind you're thinking, you know, all of this stuff, if you just lose weight or go gymming, it'll be solved, right? But then you think, you know what? If I say that, they might take it the wrong way, right? But it's every single time that whether it's a male, whether it's a female, no matter what age it is, if they come to me and they're like, look, my knees or my ankles started, okay, what was your weight back in the day, or 2 years ago when you didn't have this pain, or you didn't have this, whatever it was? Oh, okay, now I weigh 60. Okay, what's it now? Oh, well, it's 100. Okay, so what, you tell me what it is. I think it's my weight. Okay, so then while we dilly-dallying around this, lose weight and see what happens then. And most people say, look, you know what, actually, I've always thought it is that, and I think that, but the more it's actually impacted everything, not just my body, but it's impacted the way I feel, the way I do things, and this and that. And when I'm actually at this weight, I feel as though that's my optimal weight. It's like, exactly, you have an optimal everything. So now, as soon as you have an optimal everything, if you go too much, it's not optimal, it's bad. If you go that way, it's not optimal, it's also bad. So it's like, you have an ideal. So with everyone that's running around saying there's no such thing as the ideal fitness or ideal weight, it's like, how can you say that when you know that you do have one? Because the more you gain weight that's not ideal, the more you do things that's not ideal, it's toxic, when the more you do things that are not ideal, there's toxic too. The same with medication. If you take too much of it, it's going to be your last headache. But if you don't take it at all, it's going to be painful. So you need to then always be in the middle. You know, so
they've created a new term now. They've created a new term. It's called but they call it so I think I'm also starting to freeze now. It's
what the hell is that?
my brain is
Take a deep breath.
So social engineering, it's social engineering, socialization. They call it socialization. So you find that's the defense term that they will use every time when they want to try to convince you into doing something. They will say, no, it's because of socialization. People have been socialized to be like that. For example, they will tell you that no, people have been socialized. People. It's because of. They will tell you, for example, that this thing of a person being slim, it's being slim or being off the right BMI is a European. It's a European thing. People they've been socialized to think like that. People get. But then there's science breaking that, and then failure to do that, you can see that the society is starting to crumble if they fail to do that. The same thing happens with. There's a lot of things that they will say. People will just tell you, no, it's because of okay, it's fine. But I think I've been.
Vishnu, do you have any things to add?
Not really. I was just gonna say something on your point of like having your optimal kind of point of function. It's the same thing that I think Putter you mentioned with the standardization. If you standardize something, it doesn't always include everyone.
Yes.
Right. So that's what I don't know. Like you can, but this is something you can sort of standardize by saying generally whatever is your optimal, stick with.
Yes.
Because if you like with the weight thing, so if you go to the one end, that's going to happen. If you go to the other end, that's going to happen.
Yes.
It just I don't know this. Yeah, I don't know. I think my brain's also shutting off.
Yeah. My last point though is that again, even with that, it's like even when you're excluding people from a certain category, life has many other categories, and certain people will be excluded there, and certain people won't. So it's like with school, for example. You might be. I was terrible at math, but I was better at biology, and therefore when it came to math, I just kept quiet, and then people that were great at math were great at math. And then sometimes when they came to biology, I was better at biology, and they were terrible at math. So you're always going to have something that you're good at or something that you're bad at. You can't always be included in everything that you always want in every single category. That's what makes everyone unique. That's what makes certain people talented in certain things and some people not talented in certain things. You should focus on the things that you're talented at and make them grow better. And if you really have a problem with the things that you're not talented at, then you just put more effort into them. You're not going to just be born, because otherwise then what's going to happen is you might as well be born as everyone else as well, and everyone should be the same. So even with all these categories that we have in life, some people are pretty, some people aren't. Like, well, then what do you do when you're not pretty? Well, then you have to then be charismatic. You need to be a bit more friendly. Because if you're like that, then you're going to get friends if you want friends. Whereas a pretty girl don't have to then be like that, because then everyone is already going to want them. But then also, them being pretty might not be a good thing if they're going to want to be in a job, for example, because then they neglect the fact that they're not charismatic. Whereas then you then go to them benefit in that sense. So I think that's what you should that's what we should always try to think about, is the fact that there's going to be people that are good speakers and people that are witty. Okay, well, fair enough. Well, then they're going to get more friends. But then if you want friends, what are you going to do when you don't have them? Are you going to say to the witty person that whatever they have is not good? Like, no, because then you're not going to get anywhere. So then you then try to then use other parts of life and other things that then you can then try to then be whatever you want to be, the things that you're good at. And it's legit as simple as that. But as soon as you start lying to people and telling them that, no, look, if you're big, you're also going to be amazing and you're going to be beautiful and you're going to work the catwalk and you're going to be the greatest person alive, just like an anorexic person. It's like, okay. And then what's going to happen when it comes to life expectancy? What, are they going to also live the same? Like, of course not. Well, then you're going to have to tell them that. So what happens is then whenever it gets there, then they're dead. Then they're going to say, well, what's the point? If I knew that I was going to die, I wouldn't have actually cared about this much to do this whole thing to gain weight. And that translates into things like the modeling agencies, for example. It's like they say to you, look, you have to be at a certain weight to then be there. And now you find that women, even if you want to then change it, even if it's guys, if you want to then change your weight and be smaller, you can't because you're bound to a contract. And now you just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And now what do? Oh, now you're stuck in this rut. But you wanted it. Now you wanted it, and now you're stuck there. So what are you going to do? Lose weight? You can't, because then you lose the contract. And then you end up in a journey that then takes you into places you don't even know. And you come out of it and you say, man, I didn't actually want that. But you actually did. You just weren't informed about it beforehand. So, yeah.
No, I think we've made lying normal and acceptable. So people lying and self-delusion acceptable. And so people are actually have no incentive to actually hear the truth or accept the truth, because they are told that they can create their own truth, and then there are no standards, and everyone can be. You can actually. I'm sure soon enough there will be people who will say that I identify as slim. I'm fat, but then I identify as slim, and then that's my identity. I'm slim, and then it's gonna be acceptable, and it's gonna be offensive to say that no, you are not slim. Why? Because the person has declared that they identify. You have to call people by what they identify. So those are the things that we have actually allowed people to do, and then they get wild and wild every day. So it's very, very, very sad. And then the sad thing about nature is that you can lie to yourself all you want. You can tell yourself that you are 50, you are 30, while you are 80. But then nature, I mean, nature takes no prisoners. Nature will tell you that no, you can no longer climb 5 stairs anymore, because it is what it is. So you can tell yourself, you can say that you feel 50, you feel 30, or you feel 20. And then that's also what I've noticed is there, it's spreading there in Twitter. People don't want to accept the age that they are. It's like, hey, I'm 30, but I look 18. I mean, you look at it, you're not. so now, and then to deny that is also an insult. If you say no, you actually look 30, and then it's like you are insulting them. I mean, you. It's very, very, very sad. It's very, very sad. I mean, people, we have run away so far from the truth in such a way that we actually have made lies legal and acceptable. That's why you'll get people who say such things. They can identify. That's exactly what is happening. If a person says that I'm 30, but I'm 40, but I'm 40, but I look 18, and then you check the day, and then you see, no, this is not dispute that, because you'll be offensive. And then you'll be jealous, or you'll be a hater, or you'll be a whatever. So it's. But I wanna identify as a billionaire.
Yeah, as a disclaimer, I just like we're not immune to any of these things.
Yeah.
You know, it's like speaking about them doesn't mean that we're immune to them. We're also victims and oppressors ourselves. So yeah, a lot of people will watch stuff like this and think, oh, but when I thought so, you did this to me yesterday, or I miss you, but you did this, and it's like, yeah, I never said I was different. that I'm actually saying that I'm exactly the same, but I'm able to actually say that and be truthful about it. And then once I do that, I can make a constant, or I can then be cognizant that I need to then change it if it needs to be changed. So by saying that people are like this, I'm part of people. And therefore, by saying it, it makes it actually mean that, oh shit, actually, I also need to change.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I identify as Muslim.
So yeah, I identify as a billionaire, guys. So must
We won't comment on what we see.
yeah, no,
Just
no, no, no. That, you can't say that. That's offensive. That's offensive. You
yeah.
can't do that. So,
If you identify as a billionaire, you need to pay taxes as a billionaire as well. So you need to show that.
no, no, things that you don't necessarily have to do anything. You can just identify as a billionaire and then you're done. You don't have to do the hard work that billionaires do.
Oh, you don't have to do the hard work.
You just
Oh.
because all of these things are because people don't want to do the hard work and then they don't want to accept reality as it is. You can just say that I am, and then you have to accept me as I am, and then you have to address me as I. Even if you don't see it, but just because I've declared it, I've declared that I'm a billionaire, so you must treat me like one. And then that's how easy it is to jump up, to move up. And then I can also change tomorrow. And when I change tomorrow, don't question about what happened yesterday, because I'm a new person. So,
New person, new me.
yes, new me.
Today I'm poor. Today I'm poor. So therefore,
I think this opens like a whole nother can of worms, eh?
Yeah.
Because like I'm pretty sure there is diagnoses for these things that's already been established. You know, like you spoke about what I identify as slim. That's body dysmorphia.
Yes.
But now we can't use that word because it's offensive. But you need to be treated for it. Like you need a doctor.
Yeah. And if you can't use that word because it's offensive, that means that then you can't use any word because it's offensive, especially in medicine. And if you can't use any word in medicine that is offensive, then you should not have medical professionals. And if you don't have medical professionals, that means that then no one can be cured if they're sick. And if no one can be cured if they're sick, where are we going?
Exactly. Chaos. It's just the world should end tomorrow. I'm tired.
So it's like, I mean, it's like slowly but sure. That's what I mean. It's like things like that. It's like, look, if you body, don't ever call me body dysmorphic. Okay. Well, how about never calling a psychopath a psychopath? I mean,
it's also like
people
can't make up their minds. You know, back in the day, they needed the anorexic on the runway. Then Tyra Banks came. We're looking at the healthy body, right? Still thin, but more boobs, a little bit more curves. Now it's like the other end. You've got like Ashley Graham on there.
Yeah. Yes.
And now you're saying, okay, inclusivity, but now put a real anorexic person on the runway now, and people's going to shame her and they want to kick her out.
Yes.
Because inclusivity means that everyone is included on paper, but actually practically it means that include me and everyone else is going to be an oppressor. We don't really mean inclusion of everyone. So therefore, it's actually excluded them. It means inclusivity to me. Exactly the same thing with this violence thing. It means gender-based violence. It means men as well. Oh, really? Okay. Well, then when men get hit, what does it mean then? It means that he's weak. Oh, okay. Exactly. So we go back to the exact same topic again about make the terms inclusive to everyone because we need everyone to then help us fight. So we need as many people as possible to make us fight, to help us fight this cause. Once we've got the cause that we need to fight for, then we can break them off and say, actually, we don't need you. We hate anorexics. We don't like men. We don't like skinny men. We don't like short men. Hey, but I thought this whole body show. Yeah, that's what we said on paper. That's what it means. But actually, it doesn't mean like that. And then the more people you kick out, you're left alone because you're the only person that looks like yourself. And you're the only person that you're fighting for. And even if you're 55, someone else is going to be a 55 as well, 55 kgs as well. but maybe bigger at the bottom. So therefore, you might actually be different to them. And now what? Oh no, you actually mean when we're talking about inclusivity, only girls with big boobs. Boom. Oh, actually, only mean girls with big bums. Oh, okay. And all of a sudden, you actually only mean yourself.
No,
You'll
it's
never
bad.
win.
Sure.
Yeah. I think this is the longest ride I've done. I'm like, what? 2 hours. All done.
Well done.
Yeah, this is the longest. This is the longest.
No
We've
problem,
covered so many
guys.
topics.
No problem. I'll do this again. It's obviously because I'm here.
Yeah.
We've covered so many topics. We've lost a man. It went one man down in the first half already, and we managed to go to the second half on stage. We've kept the core of the group. We've kept the core group members, the whole midfield, and we're still out here.
They give
And
us
they're just getting ready to fight another day.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, man. Always, things like this, you take days to recover from. It's so enlightening and so it's powerful, and you never get to hear these things. You always hear the opposite.
No. You never get to hear these things at the office. You will get fined if you discuss these things at the office.
I feel like this chat might get a little bit of trouble if you post it on Facebook.
No, so this is what I've noticed. Right? This is actually what I've noticed is that every topic that I talk about or that we talk about is the most sensitive topic that could be, right? Because no one talks about it, right? Things like rape and rape culture, and especially having the views that, mainly the views that I have, and also the person that I'm mostly talking to. But the problem is, again, because you can't dispute it and you know the truth, you can't then give backlash. And even if you do give backlash, they don't give it to me. They give it to everyone else that wants to listen, that's not going to then repeat themselves. But then when every time you're sitting alone in your own room at 2 a.m. in the morning and you want to find out the truth, you know the truth. You can't then you can't then fight me for it. So every time I post this, stuff like this, it's like, actually, thank you. Like, thank you for actually allowing me to actually now come out with the things that I want to say. It's like I was talking to a group of white people the other day, and I was asking them, like, why don't you say the N-word as a white guy? Why don't you say the K-word as a white guy? And he was like, no, look, well, because one of them was like, because we felt as though, because I've seen what the damage that word has done. And I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. Like it's your personal reason why you don't want to use it, and I it's appreciative. Other person was like, no, because I've always thought that it's offensive to other people. And I said, okay, then why do you use the B word? Why do you use the B word against female? Is it not offensive? It's like, oh, actually, yeah, it's coming to think of it. Yeah,
but that's a good point, hey? Like that the N word is actually, like, I picked that up, and I'm sure you have too. That's another way that Black people have almost accepted that identity, because you guys should use it with each other. It was so bad. Like, you wouldn't dare. Like, why do you? Because, and you say it in such a positive way. Because if someone's your nigger, he's your friend. Like, he's not your enemy. And that's not how it was used before.
Yes, it's like what makes you able to say it and not someone else?
Yeah.
Like you saying it now, for instance, if you say it to me, why would I be offended by it? And why does what does my offense have anything to do with you? Why do you have to care if I'm offended? It's your speech. And as soon as I control your words, I can control your whole being. So if it's just a word, it might be a common noun or a proper noun, or what is it? Common noun. It might be a common noun now that I'm trying to make sure that you don't use, but tomorrow it's going to be a verb. And the next day it's going to be a pronoun. And then, it's already been a pronoun because it's the he, she. And then after that, it's going to be an adjective. And before that, you can't speak. So it's your word, and that's the only thing that you have as a person that you can use. And that's why something like this is flat out, all the words that you can use and that you want to use. If you don't want to use them, it's your choice. And if you do want to use them, use them. Don't be afraid to ever use them, because it's you. And if you're afraid by it, then at least it's your choice that you're afraid. But don't let someone else take that ability from you to express yourself in whatever way. And I remember feeling with these white guys, and I'm thinking, why? Why are you afraid of it? Why is it? Why would if you say the N word to me and I punch you in the face for it, right? Why can't you punch me in the face for punching you in the face?
Yes.
It's like what's different? What's different there? Why can I use the word cracker, for example, when I'm referring to you, and then you should still feel guilty? But I'm the one that's using a derogatory term towards you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So something's clearly not right here. And it's like, oh, actually, come to think of it. And I'm like, look, and in the same breath, I'm not saying be racist. I'm not saying be overly prejudiced and be completely right wing and try to take that or try to oppress anyone. But don't let anyone oppress you either. That's the only thing that you have, regardless of who you are. So with conversations like these, it's like, with conversations like these, it's like, regardless of what my opinion is, right? Then come through and tell me what your opinion is, and then we can converse about it. But as soon as someone hears something like this, and automatically they think, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go attack him. And then it's like, okay, cool, come through. Because if you're gonna attack him, you better make sure that you're gonna be ready. Because I'm not gonna sit down. Then they're gonna be like, nah, actually, it's not worth it. And I also don't know what my attack is going to be. Actually, it's better. I'm better off actually just listening and trying to understand, because this actually applies to me. So there's no feathers to ruffle. Because the feathers you're ruffling are only yourself. Because I'm not going to listen to you when it comes to say some whack stuff. If it's not going to be logical, you'll only be talking to yourself. You think I'm going to be responsive to you? Like, fuck it, imagine. Right? So when I post things like this, it's always positive. It's never negative. And if it's the only time it's ever been negative is when someone else had posted it. And it was only a snippet of something. And they're like, oh, I can't believe, okay.
Yeah. No, I know that happens a lot. That happens a lot. And then also, I want to also think that it's also the reason why I would say I wouldn't say afraid, but then I've actually started getting